Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to Mayor Elizabeth Jones Friday Hour.
Yes, it's we've moved our venue to a brighter place.
Yeah.
What happened? We wanted to do it in a fancy hotel, but there were so many podcasts going on in that fancy hotel. They actually had rented the whole place out, so we just had a few pictures taken next to the Christmas tree, and that was the end of that.
Yeah.
And it's actually, it looks good on the camera right now, but it's actually quite dark out here. We're being bathed in the limelight, not the limelight, the gaslight of this place here. This is a place we usually go to do a show. It's Bird Park, and we have a fountain in front of us that's off. We have a let me just give you a shot of what it looks like. Now it looks kind of familiar here. But we don't have the ducks like we usually do, so that's a little better.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw anything there, but
Yeah.
so let's see. So this is it's a Phantom Players production. I get a T-shirt from this is from Anna Green Gables,
Yeah.
and I get a T-shirt from every play I'm in.
Yeah.
And then I get
do
it.
too.
Yeah, and some of them have my name on the back. They put everyone's cast name on the back. I have, and then I run in maybe 2 races a year. Sometimes only one, but no matter what, I get a T-shirt from each one of those, and then like the 10K or something, and then being at the YMCA, they give you T-shirts all the time, like at least one a year, sometimes two. So at the end of the year, I get I don't know, about 6 or 7 T-shirts.
Yeah.
I don't need any more T-shirts.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I found that this coat you can't really wear a tie with it. It looks like you look too much. I look too much like a character on a Christmas special or something.
Yeah.
So I try to give it the Johnny Cash look
Yeah.
with their fancy coats. So
Yeah.
yeah. So let's see. What are your plans for 2026? I heard you're going to New York.
I'm going to New York,
Yeah,
and then
and that's it.
I'm going again in July. So
Well, yeah, I'm going in July too,
yeah.
and I'm I yeah, and it might be sorry about that. It might be one of my last times in New York because I don't find it much fun anymore. Last time I was there was right at the tail end of the pandemic, and I kept on having to wear a mask and show my vaccine card, and a lot of places were closed. And let me tell you something: when you go to New York, you don't go there because of the restrictions. You go there to have fun.
Yeah.
And I said, and they said, well, don't you want the comforts of home? I said, if I want the comforts of home, I'd stay at home.
Yeah.
So, those are the trips. I don't know of any. When the celebrities come, I'll be there to meet them. I'm certainly going to do more. We're going to do more podcasts in 2026
Yeah.
and everything. So and we will both have a birthday coming up, so that's good too.
Yeah. My
Now,
birthday's in May. So.
your birthday's in May. I'll I'll get a I'll get you a I'll get you a birthday card. So tell me, let's talk about some. Oh, we went to the movie, saw Wicked. How'd you like Wicked?
It was a great movie.
Yeah, wasn't it good? Yeah, I like the first one better, but what they did was they split it in half.
Yeah.
So there was the first act and the second act. So they made, instead of putting it as one movie, they had the first act, and then they had this second act, and everyone says the second act isn't as good as the first act when you go see Wicked. A lot of plays are that way.
Yeah.
Second act of Bye Bye Birdie isn't that great? That was my first play.
Yeah.
And second act of Into the Woods gets really dark.
Yeah.
Cute little play until the second act, then everyone starts dying, and they say,
Yeah.
"Wait a minute! I thought Little Red Riding Hood and
Yeah.
the Three Pigs and everything
Yeah.
supposed to live."
Yeah.
So saw Wicked. Oh, the really good film. I saw 2 really good films this year. I'm not going to go into them too much, but the one disaster after another, I think is what it's called, or whatever it's called. the one with Leonardo DiCaprio. That's very good. Sean Penn is very good in it. And I saw Hamnet with Jesse Buckley and Paul Mescal, and that was great. And then I saw a movie called The Life of Chuck with Tom Hiddleston, who played Hank Williams once in a movie, and Mark Hamill is in it. But most of the films I see, I just watch them, and that's the end of that. Anyway, we have some CDs to talk about. Which one do you want to talk about first?
Let's talk about Janis Joplin.
Janis Joplin. Okay. Janis Joplin. This is pretty much. She didn't have too many albums. This is like her greatest hits.
I have few of her albums.
Yeah, but it's what makes Janis Joplin unique?
Well, her style of singing.
Yeah.
And
she brought it into the mainstream. Yeah, that type of singing was a bluesy type singing. Sadly, she died young. She was a partied too much. She was a heroin addict, sadly. But you know, she a lot of good songs. I can read some of them on there. I don't have my glasses.
I got A Piece of My Heart.
Oh yeah.
Summertime. Try just a little bit harder.
Yeah.
Cry Baby. Me and Bobby McGee.
These are her greatest. Ball and Chain is
Down
on there.
on Me. Bye Bye Baby and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I know all the songs.
You know all the songs, yeah. Well, sadly, she didn't stay in popularity very long because she died. She has her own stamp.
Yeah.
And which was I said, oh, why are they putting the same year they put Jimi Hendrix and Janis Joplin, who died pretty much the same time, the same age. They gave them their own postage stamp. And I said, why are they giving a drug addict a postage stamp? And then I thought, well, they gave Charlie Parker a postage stamp. They gave Billie Holiday a postage stamp. That shouldn't hold them back. They were great performers. And Janis Joplin's, of course, everyone knows her from Me and Bobby McGee, which was actually written about a woman, not about a man.
You know, that was the last song she made before she died.
That's right.
Yeah.
It was Chris Christopherson wrote it.
Yeah.
And I gotta tell you something wild about Chris Christopherson. You know, if you hear the original version by Chris, he sings it very slow. One love for me and Bobby McGee. But then when she sang it fast and more of a party happy song, and but each has its own style. But but when Chris sang it after she made a hit of it, he started singing it the way she sang it, and I kind of liked it. He should have stuck his own way. I'd hate, I once got in trouble doing the same thing. I once was doing a tap dance and then the guy after me did a better tap dance.
Yeah.
And then later on we had to do the tap dance again. I did his tap dance. I was just 10 years old. I didn't know any better, and I wouldn't do that now. I'd have ethics. But at the time, I said, "Oh gosh, I hope he doesn't get up." But I think he got up and did an even better dance than he did the first time. And then he said, "Yeah, I saw what you did. I didn't like it." All right. But Janis Joplin from Texas, great singer, and the greatest hits. That's great.
Yeah.
What else do we have?
We could do Quincy Jones.
Quincy died this year.
Yeah, I like him.
Quincy lived in his 90s. Quincy actually lived.
He produced Michael Jackson songs.
He produced almost everybody. He produced. There's a really good documentary about him, and they interview all the people. Not all the people, but a lot of people that he produced. He was one of the first. His orchestra was the first orchestras to produce Dinah Washington. No, Dinah Washington came first, and then she gave him his start, and directed his orchestra, and then Count Basie, and Billy Eckstine. He produced albums, and then he produced. He really hit gold with Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
And then over the years, he branched into rock and roll singers, and of course, people know him as producing the Thriller album.
Yeah.
He's not. People don't know him from the. He wrote scores to movies, like a lot of Sidney Lumet films, the Anderson tapes, and the Pawnbroker. he wrote the theme to Sanford and Son,
Yeah.
and so that's as a composer, that's probably the most famous thing he wrote. Um, I got to tell you something funny about. I got to talk about Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby had a show in the late '60s, and he wrote the song to it. And I don't know, at the time when I was a kid, I didn't know who was singing this song. And this Bill Cosby show was actually kind of a normal show. It was kind of like Curb Your Enthusiasm, a lot of weird characters on it.
Yeah.
But the theme song, everyone remembers if you grew up in that time. And the song was, I'm going to try to imitate it. Yeah, baby, wow. I go, and I thought this was the worst singer I ever heard. And it turned out it was Bill Cosby making up lyrics to the song. So he was a funny man. He didn't turn out to be a funny man, but when it came to his records and singing to the song, but Quincy Jones knew everyone in show business. He was best friends with everybody. Unfortunately, near the end of his life, when he was kind of retired, he started giving these interviews where he was talking about people he knew that were dead, and he was saying crazy things about Marlon Brando and Richard Pryor and Frank Sinatra and all these people. And his daughter, who you may know, he had a wife, Peggy Lipton from the Mod Squad. He had a daughter still around. I mean, not still around. She's a popular actress, Rashida Jones, on The Office, if you remember, and Parks and Recreation. She had to almost like get issue say, "Oh, he goes that way all the time. Don't pay too much attention to what he says." He's in his 90s, so makes you wonder when old people start saying crazy things. Are they telling the truth? They might be telling the truth. So anyway, that's Quincy Jones. And Quincy, there's something important to note about Quincy Jones. Quincy Jones was actually the first person actually I mentioned Dinah Washington, but actually I think he was in the band, wasn't a producer or band leader or anything. He was in the band of played the trumpet for the band Ray Charles band in the early '50s. About the time I guess Ray Charles was becoming popular, and he had to quit and could never play the trumpet again because he got an aneurysm. And if you know anything about aneurysm, they're really hard to survive. I only know of two famous people to survive them. One was Quincy Jones, the other was Joe Biden. And that's why when you saw me at that big scar, the same place where I'm going bald there. He had a big scar here, and that was where the brain surgery was, and that was very noticeable. But he lived, and he lived a long time. An aneurysm is like a stroke, but it happens suddenly. Sometimes you don't even know what's going to happen. Uh, Joe Biden was diagnosed with an aneurysm, and they wheeled him into surgery as soon as they saw it. They said, "We got to get that thing. We got to fix that in your brain." And Joe Biden's still with us. Eventually became president. Now, what happened was, in the case of Joe Biden, it's kind of a wild story. Joe Biden was running for president, I think, in 1992 when this happened, and Joe Biden uh, was involved in a scandal. He gave a speech, and it was actually plagiarized word for word from a speech by the head of the English Labour Party, a guy called Neil Kinnock. And I mean, they did it on the news. They did side by side. It's the same speech he was giving, and he, of course, usually politicians just fluff these things off, but the time was different, so he had to drop out of the race, and Bill Clinton became president instead. So what happened was he dropped out of the race, and then I think maybe a week or two later, he went to the doctor and the aneurysm and what I just told you, and they got rid of it immediately, and then he recovered and he went back in the Senate, and then became vice president, and then became president, and now is a elder statesman. Now, what's weird about this is that he years later, Joe Biden he justifies his plagiarism. stealing that guy's speech because he goes, you know what would have happened if I didn't do that or I wasn't caught for doing that? I would have continued on the campaign trail, probably giving a speech in Idaho or somewhere, and gotten and the aneurysm would have happened. I wouldn't have been relaxed, and I would have been in the heat, and I would have just just it's just a headache. Get me to get me to Iowa or get me to the Michigan caucus or something. And so he's justified his plagiarism because it saved his life. But that's so Quincy Jones and Quincy Jones also he also produced a movie, the Color Purple. Yeah, and that I'm not sure if that's the only thing he ever produced as a movie producer, but he's but the Color Purple, was thanks to him. All right, so that's Quincy Jones, and oh, by the way, he produced the Academy Awards one year, and Frank Sinatra, when he picked him to produce a couple of his albums and direct the orchestra that Frank for a while was doing. They said, "Well, isn't that great that he picked a black man to do it? The most famous white singer in the world picked a black guy to do it." And Frank Sinatra was a kind of level-headed guy when it came to race relations. And he said, "Hey, I didn't pick Quincy Jones because he was black. I picked him because he was the best guy around to produce my albums, and I don't want someone else lesser than him to do it." So there you go. That's Quincy Jones. This album is he like produced it, but it's like an all-star album with other people, lesser known performers, and also a few. I think Bono is on it. I think Santana is on it. So this is like he came up with an album every once in a while. Here we go.
Ray Stevens.
Ray Stevens.
He's really good.
Ray Stevens still around. Ray Stevens is a very entertaining guy. He had a variety show on NBC in the 1970s, and he would always surprise people with his music. He wrote and performed the song "Everything Is Beautiful."
Everything is beautiful in its own way.
Yeah, so, but then he would also have these wild comedy songs like the Guitar Zan and it's a Jungle Man. And that's a very funny song. And then the Ahab, the Arab, and Bridget the Midget. There's all these wild songs he did. Along Came Jones. There's up your alley there, Mrs. Jones. And then he was he's still around. And in fact, I think somewhere in Florida or Tennessee or maybe Branson, Missouri, he up until recently was still running a nightclub there and was performing, like 4 or 5 nights a week. And he had a variety show, and you catch it on YouTube with guest singers, more modern. He sings all his old songs and everything. But if you're not a conservative, in recent years he's done these parody songs about against the Democrats in power and everything. So and against Obamacare and stuff. So you may have to say, well, he was good at one time. But he's still he's still a good performer and stuff. He's very good live, from what people tell me who have seen him. I've never seen him live, but he's Ray Stevens is a very talented man. He had a hit song. He had like a country music version of Misty, the Errol Garner song that was so good. He had a song, gospel song, Turn Your Radio On. He had It's Me Again, Margaret. When I was in Ireland, that was a big hit about the guy making being arrested for making obscene phone calls. It's me again, and then at the end, he's given one phone call when he's arrested, and of course he calls Margaret again. Oh, I tell you, the funniest song he does is that one about the squirrel and the squirrel in the Mississippi Squirrel Revival. Oh man, I laugh at that. I laugh at that every time. I never get tired of hearing that song. The day the squirrel went berserk in the first self-righteous church, and also with Jesus wear a Rolex if he came down to earth, he, so It's songs that maybe up until maybe the Trump administration were, or again, probably until the Obama administration, I should say, were kind of pleasant songs, and now they're a little bit more edgier. But that's good too, because I guess somebody has to write these songs. As long as you make them funny, I guess that's good. Good luck with that. But that's Ray Stevens, and maybe next time, maybe I should take a road trip to wherever he's performing and go see him. Because, maybe we could do that. All right, and so I want to wish you, Mary, a very happy New Year.
Yes.
It was a wonderful year spending
Yes,
it with
it
you,
was,
and we went on trips and we did podcasts and we did it all. And I guess this is going to be the last one of 2025. So we will hit the 100 show threshold in the coming months. So that I look forward to it. And I haven't we haven't seen our fans in 3 months. So it's good to be back. And look how old I've gotten. Look, she's gotten younger and I've gotten older. I don't know how that happens. So anyway, thank you, Mary. Thank you, Mary, for all the good time, Mary Elizabeth.
No problem. Well, I just want to say, God bless you. You take care.
This is the Mary Elizabeth Friday Hour. I'm Kaye Lazar.
I'm Mary Elizabeth. May God bless you all. Take care.